Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you how I frame up the interior walls for my shop, and we're going to do some updates to let you guys know what's going on. Let's get to it. So if you guys don't know, in California, we've had some fires and it's been rolling through my neighborhood and stuff. So I needed to stay home to, watch my home, protect my property, things like that. So as I'm home doing stuff like that, I need to come up with some other things to do because, I don't want to leave. So I made 1 or 2 runs, went to Home Depot and Lowe's, mixed between, bought a bunch of lumber, and I started basically framing in all the walls of the shop. I was trying to find some videos on YouTube on how to do this, and I didn't find any real detailed videos or some good explanation. I'll try and show you what I did and explain it. That way, if this is something that you're interested in doing, maybe you'll have some direction or get an idea of what you could do, or modify it and do it a different way if you want. But anyway, so I got one wall left. This is one of the worst walls. It's got these stabilizing braces in the X form right there. So we're going to have to undo the bolts at the bottom, and we're going to have to put them out of the way. I already did one wall, and I ended up just kind of holding them up in the air. So there's the X brace. I undid them there, and then I took them and secured them at the top with a large zip tie. So we just got a large zip tie holding it out of the way, and I did that on both sides, so that way I'm able to slide the walls in on both sides and bolt them at the top, and it's not in the way. This is also going to aid me when I have to sheet the walls, because I'm going to end up putting OSB or plywood or something on here after I do the electrical and everything. And it's just going to be easier that those cables are out of the way. From what I understand, the cables are only for like heavy wind loads, heavy snow loads, just to keep the shop from splitting apart. So we're good to have those loose right now. I don't see any things like that happening right now. So keep our fingers crossed that this thing doesn't collapse. But anyways, so we got to do that to this wall. This is my last wall before I can start putting electrical boxes and stuff like that. I still need to run the main power to the shop from the street. That is something that I also started working on. I was clearing the way outside and stuff, brush and things like that, because we got to get this electrical panel mounted solidly. I need to buy some adapters so it'll fit. Because this is a 3-inch PVC electrical pipe, and this box only allows, it looks to be a 2.5. So the adapter for that I got to buy. The adapter is $50, and then I'm going to need some 2.5-inch pipe. I only need about a foot of it, but they don't sell it by the foot, so I got to pay another $50 for a 10-foot stick of that, and then buy the little thread adapter, which is going to be another $10 or so. Nothing like spending some money that you don't have. So we got to get this wall done, and then I'll have the framing done. That's going to be a huge relief. I do have to say, it was really funny. Quite some time ago, I was watching a video from Puddin's Fad Shop. If you guys haven't ever seen that, I don't know why you haven't. He's great. But he was redoing his shop a while ago. And he also had mentioned, like, don't fill your shop with stuff. I'm not going to put anything in the shop until it's done, because otherwise it's going to be in my way. Well, I put everything in my shop. Well, I didn't put everything, but I put a bunch of stuff in the shop, and I have spent probably half my time moving stuff out of the way and just putting it all in the center of the shop, so that way I have space around the walls in order to work on the framing. See, I've been making pathways, so that way I can build the walls on the ground and then lift them up, and I'm going to need that room also for the sheeting that I'm going to have to do. So right now, again, because I have everything in my way, I need to move all of this stuff. I'm going to leave the press right there. That'll be fine. So I need to move all this stuff out of my way, so that way I can finish that last wall and stuff. So let's get that moved. So I just got the stuff that was here on the floor cleaned up and moved, put in some boxes and stuff like that. I think for this metal, because I don't have a place for metal yet in this shop, because obviously it's new, I think I'm going to cut a couple pieces of wood just to go across the bottom of this table, so I can just set them on there and then move this whole table out of the way. So I'm going to do that right now, but first I want to show you guys some stuff that I found in the trash. So we're on the other pad that I had graded. If you guys didn't see that video, go back and just watch me grading this pad and stuff like that. Well, I hired someone to do it. But anyways, where I live, we don't have like trash can pickup service. We have like dumpsters that it's like a communal dumpster. So in the communal dumpster, I found this little Yard Machine 3 horsepower edger. If you guys aren't aware, in this great state of California, they're making selling gas engines illegal. So anytime I can find myself a nice little gas engine, I'm going to pick it up. It's got compression. It seems like from when I pulled out the gas cap, it's just rusted inside the gas cap, and the carb's going to need to be cleaned. So that was a good score. And this is like a, it looks like an industrial 3-phase power box for like, you know, for circuit breakers or main power distribution into like a building or something. So it's super heavy duty. It's got nice hinges on it, stuff like that. I just thought it was cool. It was in the dumpster. It was a little bit of a beast to get it out of the dumpster. I can't even get it closed now. But that was a great little score. So that was free. That was free. It's always good when you find some free stuff that is either going to be illegal or it's expensive. So, all right, let's get to making those boards for that table. That's just my saw light for lining up the cut, but the dim is watch. I'm amazed what this extension cord and the power can do. Get some gloves on so I don't cut my hands. Safety's cool, kids. Stay in school. All right, guys, we're back. So I got the area cleaned all up, looking good. Took me a good hour to do it. I also cleaned the floor where these bottom plates were going to be, because I'm never going to probably ever touch it again. and because we had a little bit of mouse traffic and stuff, I just wanted to make sure that was cleanly and healthy for me as best as I can. So so I got these bottom plates put out. I got to mark where the studs are going to go so I can determine where to make that cut where the two pieces are together. I do remember from all the ones I've been doing, because I forget as I go, that one stud comes really close to that splice, so I have to kind of lay them out so I see where it goes, so I know which board I'm going to cut. So let's do that right now. So we got this one whole board marked. We have our starter right there. The stud is going to start right here at the beam and come over this way. That way it's running against the side of this beam, just like on that side. So that way when we put the sheet here, we can screw to it, and we're basically sealing off this back area for mice and pests and all that. And it just comes flush up to the beam, and I think that's going to look good. So let me finish doing my marks and I'll bring you guys back. So we got those all marked. Now we need to start with our top plate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2x4s overlaid on top of those boards, and then I'm going to also mark them and transfer over the stud locations onto the top plate, so that way I don't have to sit there and measure it all out. Top plate's going to be a little different. Top plate has a little bit of a whoop-de-doo in it, as seen right here, and that whoop-de-doo is there because there's bolts here, bolts and nuts. So we need to step it down. It ends up being a 2x4 thickness, and it works perfectly. So it gives you plenty of room and stuff. So I'll put the plate down there, mark everything out, do my measurement of how far over I need to cut the top plate, and then make the little whoop-de-doo filler to then equal the length of where I need it to be. So I'll do that on both of them. I'll show some video real quick of that too. So we got our top plate all measured out. We got the splice section going far back to where it needs to go to match the bottom plate. We have it where it's going to overlap and it's going to screw to. It'll give us that whoop-de-doo to miss the bolts all in that section right there. We have where our studs are going to be marked out, so we know we're not going to hit the stud. And the same thing over here. This void right here is the void in the top plate. That's going to miss those screws and bolts and the overlap. So this is the void, and then here is the section where it's going to get screwed to. So, and then it goes behind the beam to hold itself. So let me do that and I'll come back. So we got our top plate screwed in. We got the little whoop-de-doo there to miss the nuts and bolts. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take the studs and I'm going to just sit the studs on each one of those, go up to the top, hold it, and then draw a line. The piece of regular 2x4 is representing the top plate. So instead of holding the top plate up there or subtracting 1.5 or whatever you got to do, I just put it there, draw the line, and move on. This metal girt right here is not perfectly straight. It's got little bits of bows in it and stuff. So this way you're kind of making each piece unique for the section. And it's been working out pretty well. One or two times I've had to use shims, but you know what? It works. I'm very happy with it. And we're not going to secure the bottom plate to the concrete. I have decided that that's not going to be a good idea. What I do is I put blocking like that, little piece of block. I have them every so often. And what they are is they're basically a spacer to tell me how far that wood needs to come from the wall. And if I was to nail that in or drill and put a bolt or something like that, if for whatever reason I need to move that, it's going to be so much easier just to take bolts out on the top, because I'm going to put some bolts up there, I'll show you, and take, you know, maybe some of the sheeting off so that way you can get to those bolts up there. I'm going to have the electrical hidden behind the wall. The electrical is not going to be on the face. It's going to be behind the wall. That's going to allow me to put toolboxes and stuff up flush to the wall. So everything's going to be flush. Everything's going to be good. And I feel like it's going to hold the electrical box in tighter, because not only will the box be screwed to the stud, but then you'll have that OSB or whatever keeping the box from pulling out, because it's going to be behind it. And it's just going to be trapped better. I think I'm going to do it that way. It's going to cost a little bit more money to put the face plates and all that stuff, but you know what? This is my dream or whatever, so I'm going to go with it. So let me start marking these studs. Let's get them cut out, and let's get this wall assembled. So now I'm screwing them in. All I'm doing is putting the board where the X is, lining up the line. You know, I'm just lining up the line, putting the board, making sure it looks straight. And I'm just going to screw them in all the way down, and I'm going to do the same to the bottom plate, and I'll bring you back when I got that done. All right, so we got one half of the wall built. I'm going to get it raised up, and man, it's starting to get cooking in here. So we'll get started on the other wall right now. We'll get them both in there. We'll check them out, make sure they're good, and then we're gonna put a bottom waterproofing little layer on. So I have, where this shop is at, it's on a mountain slope, and in the back part it's a lot of rock, and I've got it sloped and everything, but I'm still having some water issues. So as you can see, water staining. The ground is getting pretty moist when it's the real heavy rains, like flood, you know, area. So I'm probably gonna have to do a fresh drain on the outside. I didn't opt for the gutters because they cost more money, and I was already broke buying everything for this. So that's why we have the pressure treated on the bottom for moisture and rot, and then we're gonna put an added extra little layer. That extra added layer will give us a little bit more thickness, which will make it seat up a little bit better, and it'll give us some added protection, waterproofing, stuff like that. So, you know, I just need this thing to last me another 50 years before I die. Other than that, it's someone else's problem. So let's get the other wall built, and then I'll show you guys it all assembled, and then we'll get that waterproofing on, and I'll show you guys that. So this is the waterproofing stuff. It's called like sill plate waterproofing or threshold or something like that. At Lowe's it's blue, and at Home Depot it's pink. It's about $7 for a 50-foot roll. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're gonna staple it to the bottom of the sill plate. The staples will rust out over time, but the idea is to allow them to be held on and get the wall on, so that way everything's staying where it needs to be when I'm assembling this. The staples don't go through this like all the way, so the waterproofing maintains, and the little thickness that's here maintains. So it I feel better using this stuff instead of just having the pressure treated just on the ground. Yeah, I know pressure treated, you know, prevents rot, blah 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 blah, but a couple extra bucks, you know, it's not going to kill me. So let's get this on.
See how we have that nice little layer, little added protection.
So I got that one put up now. We got some foam sticking out. So what I'll do is I'll get a jack and a piece of wood. I'll lift up on this, and it'll allow me to push the foam back in. And we'll get to bolting it and stuff. Let me jack that up real quick, and then we'll get to the next step. All right, so we got the foam in. Now we need to figure out how far from the wall this goes. And it's a little different everywhere I go because I built this building and it's not perfect. So what I'm talking about is, I don't remember if I showed you, is I have these little block spacers here. They have the foam on them, and these just keep the wall from going in too far. So I'm gonna cut those right now, and then I'll put those in, and then that'll help me for when I then bolt the top. I've got all the little blocks right there. I do 3 per section, and then, you know, they keep going down. So now what I need to do is I need to take the top, pull it out so the wood is just a little bit proud of that metal girt. So when I put the sheets up, I want to screw to the wood. I don't want to screw to the metal girt. So I'm gonna move those out to where they need to go. I'm gonna clamp them, and then we're gonna drill them. So I made a little tool. It's just a little piece of wood, and it's got a little black mark right here. This represents this top board. So when I drill up there, and after I have this where it's at, I'm drilling basically through the center of that. And then to attach these, we are using grade 5 fasteners. They are 2.5 inches long. Those are perfect. They're 1/4 20, and then two regular washers, and then I have Nylox on them, which has the nylon insert, and that's because I don't ever want these unscrewing. If I'm gonna ever have that wall come off, it's gonna be by me taking it off. So so we're gonna get these, and I'm doing 3 per row. They're 10-foot long walls, so we're gonna do 3 for each, so it's 6 total for this whole length, and that's more than it seems just perfect. So we'll do that right now. All right, I brought you guys up top with me. This is that top metal plate above the wall that I'm drilling and bolting into. We got my little tool with the little black center mark. We're gonna just put that here where I like it. And probably right there. And we'll drill it. 1/4-inch drill bit. All the shavings and stuff, I just take the block and I just wipe them out of the way. I'll get to them later. And then we're gonna go ahead and take my 1/4-20 bolt. It's a real tight fit. So, oh, that one's good. We're gonna put the washer and the lock nut on the bottom. And the way I'm tightening these, I'm not using the impact. I am using high quality snap-on socket for the top to hold it. And then on the bottom, I am using my Milwaukee 3/8 high-speed ratchet. And what happens is by the time that this thing gets full torque, it ends up being perfect. It's not like super crazy or anything. So, and we got our nut pretty much dead center. So time for a little, you know, cheap wood tool, and it just helps out. So I'm gonna finish doing the last 3 over there, and then we'll get back to it. So holy cow, we are done with the internal framing. That was a bear, I will tell you. I was doing that 100-degree heat in the shop. Luckily, you know, I'm not outside with the sun beating directly on me. It's just ambient, or whatever the hell you want to call it, temperature. You know, but it's done. It's done. I'm pretty happy with it. Let me show you some of the little tricky areas that I had to do besides what you guys saw. So but here, let me show you this real quick. So this is the little spot. Remember I showed you guys that the little whoop-de-doo in order for the bolts to go through. Another thing I'm going to use that for is, I think I'm going to use that for electrical if I need to pass electrical through. I don't know, I'm probably going to drill holes in these and just run it all the way down. But when I get to the back wall over here, you can't do that. You have to either drill through, so this is the back corner wall, very back corner. So those main big gray beams have room on the backside to run things, or you can come up here up top through the girt. But when you get to this back corner, everything's blocking. So I can come through these whoop-de-doos and maybe go through that whoop-de-doo, just kind of like come across and then able to continue it down. But when I get to the next beam, it'll have to be the same thing and just kind of go through and stuff. I really don't want to drill through these beams, just because, knowing my luck, the whole building will collapse, which I highly doubt, but you know, it's just better to leave the structural integrity there. Also, I didn't show you guys, but I have these extra little pieces of wood. These are all basically for rodents. So it basically keeps, once this is all sheeted, I mean, you know, a rodent's not going to get under that. That's barely even enough room for a toothpick. I mean, I made sure, and I'll probably silicone them too. And I have one over here as well. Another beam that comes down, and it's just, you know, I had to cut them out. It's all about the freaking mice. I mean, living up in the country, those freaking mice, man, they own the place. So hopefully once I get it all sheeted and everything's good, you know, the sheeting will butt up against, and then it'll be basically a whole sealed encapsulated, you know, thing that they can't get behind. So, but man, look at that. I think I'm at like $700 in materials for all that lumber, for the screws. I may be more. I may be $800. That took a big chunk of change. And I still got electrical. I did buy some wire for the 220 circuits because let me tell you guys my idea, if you've even watched this far in the video and you didn't shut it off. But let me tell you my idea and tell me what you guys think. So each section is 20 feet, so it's 20, 40, 60, so it's a 60-foot building. I'm thinking that besides that panel, but like these, I think I'm going to do 4 receptacles, and each receptacle is going to have 4 plugs. So 4, 8, 12, 16. So we're going to do 4 boxes per wall, 4 receptacle plugs per box. So it's basically the dual boxes where it's 1 receptacle and then 2 and they're together. So, and I did the math. I think I need like 26 boxes, because you know what? If I'm going to be in here working, I don't want to be fighting for receptacles. Besides, work tables, workbenches, the press, mill, lathes, grinders, belt sanders, drill presses, vertical mill, you know, I mean, I'm going to run, you know, a bunch of 220 volt circuits and a bunch of those plug circuits. And then the lights, I think I'm going to do the lights in sections. I have more of these UFO lights, so I'm thinking I'm going to do 2 lights, and then another 2 for the next section. And I think each section I'm going to run on its own switch. So that way, if you just want light in the back or in the middle or in the front, whatever, you don't have to be sitting there burning up electricity, or if it's too bright or whatever. So it's always nice to have choices. Choices cost money though, because then I need more wire per circuit, but I might as well do it now and then regret it later. So what do you think? You think that's too many plugs? 4 receptacles. So that's going to be, yeah, so 4, 8, 16 plug-in spots per wall. Maybe overkill, but you know, whatever. It's you guys are going to watch it happen because I'm going to show it to you. I had a hard time making this video just because the heat, and I just wanted to get this stuff done. And I was like looking, and I was like, man, I didn't make a video for like a month. So I need to get back on it again. But this was a bear. This was really difficult. Electrical and stuff like that, I don't think that'll be as bad, but doing this in the heat, all these 2x4s and the cutting, I mean, look at my pile of just wood. These are all the cuts. Over here I have a stack of cuts. I mean, and all I have left is, I think, 1 pressure treated 2x4x8 and then 1 regular. So I did pretty good on my math. I did grab extra, and I did use the extra ones, so because I messed up here and there. I'm not a skilled framer, so some of those guys are pretty crazy, you know. They do a really good job, so I'm not one of those, but I enjoyed the time doing it. Now we got to work on the panel. I was thinking about this again, if you guys are still watching. The panel, I don't know what I'm going to do, because these 2x4s are in the way of, you know, all these knockouts for all the electrical to go out. So I know they put plywood behind it, but I don't know if you just get a giant sheet I mean, I may just have this come up to here, cut it, and then have a little side piece that comes up, and do that for all of it, so it still holds the panel here, but it gives me all that room on the sides. Or I could just come out the top and then just kind of feed down and do that. I don't know if you guys got any ideas on that, let me know. We have a little bit of time. I probably won't start buying wire for probably another month or so. I got to finish trenching. Well, we got to trench and run the power to this shop. I already have it cleaned outside and ready to go pretty much. There's one or two things I need to move. And then we have this big old spool here of direct burial I'm using. I'm going to use direct burial aluminum. I already bought it. They said it was good for code up here. So we're going to... I'll probably have to borrow a well drilling pipe from the neighbor and turn that spool on its side and then put it on my big forklift. I have like a big old school telescoping telehandler type thing, so I'll probably throw that on there. That's if my forks go wide enough. I actually didn't think about that. Do you think the forks are wide enough? Oh man, I didn't even think about that. So here's their big old... I don't know. I'm gonna have to measure that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's gonna work. That's a big old spool. I need to have something to unreel it. So you ain't rolling that thing, you know, that thing's close to 1,000 pounds. So anyway, guys, yeah, so framing's done, check. We got to trench the main line. We got to get that in, and then once I get power to that panel, oh man, I'll feel such a sigh of relief. That would be amazing. I mean, like I said, I've been running off a 200-foot extension cord maybe. So this is 10 gauge, but we're running this. I don't know if that's 14 or 12. See that blue shipping container over there? That's where the plug-in is at. And then that gets power from a 10 gauge wire at my well house, which is another couple 100 feet away. and I'm running that chop saw. I'm running these lights. I'm running that fan intermittently, you know, unplug, plug in, unplug, plug in. I'll catch you guys next time. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys comment, liking, subscribing. It'll get better. This is just some brute stuff I'm doing right now, so it'll get better. Wait till I get all my tools in here. Wait till we can actually do like projects. I got a Chevelle over there that I've been holding on to for 15 years. That's my car, man. I can't wait. We got 4x4 trucks. I got my import cars. I've got mini bikes, go-karts, all sorts of projects, blacksmithing tools. I mean, machining tools. If you guys didn't see my machinist tool haul score, I mean, guys, we're gonna have some fun. It's gonna take a while. Stick with me. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.